You're listening to The Business Focused Photographer. If you're ready to transform your photography business into a thriving career, you're in the right place. Each week, we'll discuss fun and innovative ways to boost your creativity and income. Sound good? Let's go.
Hey, welcome back to the podcast. Today, I am here with one old friend and one new friend. Lydia Fine and Nicole Moreno are here today to talk with me for the first time as like a little group conversation about a partnership that they've established as a result of a really good problem to have that Lydia had, which was what to do with all the overflow work. You met in this Facebook through a Facebook group. You met in person. What stood out to you, Lydia, that was different about because I know you have a history of of tumultuous relationships with other local photographers, which is not like unique to you or Iowa or anything like that. But what stood out to you about Nicole when you did meet her, when you did get to know her as a peer who was also technically your competition?
Yeah. Nicole's an exceedingly kind person, and you can just, I got that vibe about her like right off the bat. And, some people kind of come into a relationship with a lot of attitude, and you just, you could tell maybe they're not fully being as transparent with their feelings or their thoughts. And then it kind of puts you back on guard. I never felt any of that with Nicole. She was very open, but also secure in saying, like, here's the thing I don't know. Like, do you know anything about this thing? And so we were kind of bouncing ideas off of each other and going back and forth. And that's kind of how I got to know her and to trust her, and which is important because the partnership that came later definitely requires trust.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Because, like, I have spoken about my solution to overflow when I brought on associates to my business, but that's not always the best solution. It's not the only solution. So backtrack now again to what led you to then circling back to Nicole for this idea. Let's talk about what preceded all of that and
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah, what the problem was that was kind
Problem.
of
Good problem.
bothering me that brought about the solution. So I know that it's like first world problems, but I had more work than I could handle, and as we talked about on the first time I was on the podcast, I am purposefully part time, which means my capacity is less than a full time photographer, and therefore I fill up pretty quickly. And usually by about usually by June 1st for sure, I'm out of availability for the outdoor season, which in Iowa generally runs till about the 1st of November, May 1st to November 1st. And so these inquiries would continue to come in, and I wanted to, I didn't want to just shut it down on my website and say, oh, like I've got nothing left, because you never know when a newborn inquiry or something might come in that is really important to you and you want to fit them in. So I have a background in marketing, I should say that, which is part of why the marketing part of owning a photography business has always come so easily to me, is because I've done this for 20 plus years. So it makes sense that I had more work than I could handle, both because I was part-time and because I have a marketing background, that I knew what to do. Like, some of these marketing pieces came very naturally to me. So at first, when I would get an inquiry and I was completely full, I would just refer them to anyone locally that I knew of, an acquaintance. And that worked fine for the first couple of years, but I think it was my second year in business. And one of those people came to me and said, I filled my fall schedule thanks to you. And that for me was kind of I felt really good that I could do that for her. But at the same time, I started to feel a little bit resentful, because here I was busting my behind to do all the marketing things that I knew would bring inquiries into my business. And then I was handing them away for free. I wasn't getting anything back from all of the work and effort I was
Right.
putting in.
Right.
So that was the conundrum. It didn't feel right for me, and just the way that the customer service mentality that was instilled in me by my father, who was a small business owner, to just say, like, oh, no, sorry, bye, can't help you. That didn't feel right either, because I wanted to, send them to someone I knew could help them. And it was
Right.
starting to become a problem of, like, do you still have availability? Do you still have availability? It was an issue. So I didn't want to leave these people hanging, and I wanted to be able to do something for them. And I also wanted to do something that would help me feel better about all the marketing work and that I could feel some return on that effort when I referred my inquiries to someone. So I started looking for a partner that would be willing to work with me on this.
And then she found me.
I love that. But I can relate to that so much because before having my associate, and even still now, sometimes my associates are not available, and I do refer anyway. I am not a petty person. I do not like operate out of lack or scarcity, but you can't help but notice when you will refer all the time to another photographer and they never return the favor. And I don't think it's because they don't ever have work that they have to turn down. I think that some people do operate out of like, well, I don't want to lose this client to this person who's already more successful than or who's busier than I am. Like they don't I don't want to throw them a bone. And like I've started to pick up on that over the years over who will and who won't. And it's really obvious to me now. And after a while, it's like, you know what? I'm not throwing you any work. Like, I'm not gonna and, like, yeah, maybe that is petty of me, but, like you're saying, like, you bust your butt, you figure out the marketing piece, the, visibility, the reputation takes years. It doesn't just take a lot of work, it takes time to get those things, and that's
Yeah.
what generates the leads, and, I'm not looking for any sort of pat on the back, but I do like the reciprocal piece where it's like, yeah, we're gonna like toss each other the work, and more photographers than don't will refer to me, who I refer to, but the ones who have just literally never ever, and I know it's not because they haven't had the chance to, I'm like, "Mm." So yeah, you do start to like notice those little, deficits in community, and you don't necessarily have to participate in them, and yeah, it does make sense if, like, you're getting so much work coming in your way, I would imagine that somebody who's not yet would appreciate that, like, so
That's what I
Nicole,
thought. Yeah.
what
Yeah.
what
And
was
I do very much.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
And
so tell
yeah.
me this was like because when Lydia proposed this as something to talk about, I'm like, "This is really interesting, but how do we come at this gently?" Because it is like there clearly she's figured out a way for this to feel good for everybody. Otherwise, you wouldn't do it, right? How do we talk about this?
Yeah. Well, so just to define what we're
Yeah.
doing, basically,
Yeah, let's
when I
define it.
yeah, so what we're doing is when I get an inquiry that I cannot accommodate, I let them know that I partner with another local photographer who can help them if it's one of the genres that Nicole does, and then I just double check with her that she's okay with the referral, and then I give them her contact information and say, I know she will treat you well. I have full faith in her abilities. And I hand the referral or the inquiry over to her. And then if she books that client, then 15% of the session fee comes back to me. And it's the I don't think it's all that unusual. I worked in real estate my first job out of college. And if there is one industry that has referrals down cold, it is real estate. A
Sure.
realtor would never dream of referring a client to someone else, and the one who got the referral would always do a like what's the formal referral process that realtors have, and I can't remember what the percentage is, but it's a decent percentage if it's an expensive home for sure.
Sure.
Yeah,
And it's
so
it's not uncommon in other industries, for sure.
exactly, but it was
Right.
definitely not common here,
No.
although I've heard a few people over the years say that they have something more formalized. Someone in the Pacific Northwest has a Facebook group of local photographers, and they have an unspoken rule that when someone gives you business, then you kick a little something back to them. I don't know if it's an Amazon gift card or what, but those seem to be the exception rather than the rule. But the first two people that I approached about this partnership were not willing to. One, I never found out why. The other one said that it didn't make sense to her because she was doing all the work, which as a marketer makes me cringe just a little bit because there is so much work that happens before the inquiry comes in, before you ever start the booking process. Like all of that piece, it's invisible at that moment. It's far less direct connection than the clicking of the camera, but it's there and it's real.
Yeah, it is. So Nicole, how did you process this when Lydia brought it to you to as an idea of something
I
to
think at first
collaborate
I
on?
kind of had to like take a step back too and think about it because I was like, like those other girls, like, oh, so what? So I'm going to give you money to, I'm going to do the work. But then, like, thinking about it, we moved to Iowa City in 22. So I'm still trying to build, a business here and get people to know me. And so my network is still small. And so when she proposed this, I'm like, okay, well, sure, I have to pay her, 15%. But if I gain a client out of it and I'm not having to do all the marketing and I'm having to do all that because I don't like doing any of it. I was just telling her earlier, like, I'd rather just go take the picture, send them the photos. I don't want to do any of that. I don't want to do anything else. So it works out nicely because I mean if she is really busy and she can afford, I guess, to hand off clients, I will gladly take them. And we talked about it too. I mean, there's people that might come to me and be like, "Oh, this is great, but we still like Lydia's work better, so we'll go back there," vice versa.
Right.
So, no,
But I
I
also
think it's worked out great.
But I also love when I refer someone to her and then they stay because that makes me feel really good because I know that when I said, I know she'll take good care of you, and then that they were able to see the same results. And, there's someone I referred to her is actually a friend of mine who, when I told him I do mostly like lifestyle, he was like, "Oh, I don't think that's what my wife wants." And I said, "Well, and that's one difference between Nicole's style and mine is that hers is slightly less lifestyle, slightly more formally posed, and that's fine. That's totally okay. But it's all about finding the right fit between the client and what they're looking for." And I knew that I wasn't the right fit, and I thought she might be. And she did their family photos, and then she ended up photographing the daughter's senior photos like a year later. So I consider that a
Whoa.
win.
That is a
Well,
win. That is a win.
I think too, like her coming to me, and I think I even said it to her, like her asking me, I'm like, okay, this is kind of like a compliment, right? Because then she must think that my pictures are okay. She must think I do all right.
Yeah,
So it was
absolutely.
kind of a compliment as well. So
Yeah,
And
you're right.
I could see that as an advantage over just having, being, an associate for Lydia, where you can maintain your style exactly. You're not trying to integrate visually into another brand. You are still Nicole Moreno Photography. Um, and it doesn't, you still have that artistic freedom where my associates are still kind of working within certain parameters to make sure that they are, fitting within my brand. I like that, and I like that if you do get an inquiry of, somebody who's looking for something that's a little less lifestyle, that's a great option. So Nicole, I have to ask, when you guys formed this partnership, did you change your pricing at all so that you could absorb a little bit more of what you would be kicking back to Lydia?
adjusted my prices, but I'm not quite sure when. I don't think I necessarily did it to for that reason, but when talking with Lydia, like she's been a great support and helping me. I call her all the time, ask her, I don't know how to do this. Help me with this, help me with that. And so in those moments, she's been like, "All right, Nicole, we gotta talk about your prices. Like you gotta do something here." And
Yeah.
I'm like, "Okay."
Yeah.
So she
That is my that
she
is my constant refrain. Nicole, we got to raise your prices. Nicole, we
yeah,
got
you
to
gotta
raise your
do something
prices.
here.
And sometimes I'll get an inquiry for kind of an unusual session, and I will tell her like, you know, remember this client was willing to pay $1,500 for this session. So, or like I think we got
Yes.
one for like the day
So
after
don't charge them
Christmas.
500.
Yeah. So I'm just like the day after Christmas, I'm like, I told them to expect a holiday surcharge for their session. So please do not charge them the normal rate for the day after Christmas because you will want to be with your family on that day and you're giving something up. So, yes, I'm always
Right.
kind of like trying to gently or maybe not so gently encourage Nicole
No,
to charge more
she's been
prices.
a good mentor, so it's been good.
Well, we all need that, like, voice of encouragement, right?
Yes.
Sometimes it's internal and sometimes it's external, but it's definitely helpful, and, so there's a big price discrepancy right now between your 2 brands?
Think so.
I think so. I mean, it's not as bad, but it's yeah.
Bad.
There's
Well, no,
yeah.
like, let me be clear, like, there is not a bad price, as long as in my opinion, at least, like, it's just, like, remove judgment. As long as you understand your numbers and everything like that, your price can be totally appropriate for your business. But what I'm getting at is, like, if there's a pricing discrepancy from one business to another, that's another great way to utilize this sort of partnership is, like, somebody comes in and it's not that they were going to book Lydia, they couldn't book Lydia, they couldn't afford Lydia. To have this alternative is just another great way that the partnership could function as just like, "Oh, you kind of needed a different price point, you know,
Yeah. And I
here's."
do those referrals too.
Yeah,
If someone is working with me and maybe they didn't check my pricing on my website beforehand, I'll just say, no, I totally respect that. You know, your budget is your budget. And however, what I can tell you is that I partner with a local photographer who can help you out, whose sessions are at a lower price point than mine, but she still does beautiful work. So that actually is another part of this. It's not just about me being full, but if I'm not the right fit, I love that I can refer them to somebody who is.
yeah. Yeah, and again, with confidence knowing that you're sending them to somebody who you know is providing a great experience because that at the end of the day is the like maybe a fear, one of the bigger fears that you might have when you refer somebody is like, shoot, like,
Yeah.
are they going to provide a good experience for this client? And then so Nicole clearly has that strength to do that, so you can rest easy knowing that anybody who you send her way is going to do that. Um, I think this is so great, and it's another, like, testament to using community to strengthen both businesses of one another. What do you think, like, were there a lot of kinks to work out as you were setting up this collaboration and figuring out the terms? Um, how did you do that, guys?
So we have an agreement, like an annual signed agreement with each other that basically states here's what I will do, here's what you will do, and how payments get made, things like that. So we do have that like spelled out. But aside from the signed agreement, which is sort of a formality, like, trust in this situation is so paramount. I need to be able to trust that Nicole will tell me when a client books or doesn't book. Like, I'm sure that there are unscrupulous people out there who would just lie about it, but I trust Nicole and I know she wouldn't do that. And I also don't feel threatened by her existence as another photographer in our community. I feel like there's enough to go around, right?
Clearly, yeah.
Yeah. So I'm a pretty meticulous tracker of all things. So I keep, I know, you know this about me. I have a pretty monstrous Airtable where all of my inquiries feed into. And so the ones that I refer to Nicole, I just track those. And then later I'll follow up with her and just say, hey, I just have a list of names here. Just wanted to check in because I don't want her to have to, if she's got multiple inquiries coming in, oh, is this one
Sure.
from Lydia? Was this one from Lydia? Because it's not as though they fill out a special form or anything when they come from me. So I just keep track and then I circle back with her on Voxer and just say, hey, here's a list of names. Just let me know if any of these came through. And then eventually, then I'll just mark them in my database and then mark when the payment comes in. Easy peasy.
Well, yeah, easy peasy, Lydia fine, but,
Easy
like,
peasy for me. Yeah.
Eas Nicole, did you have to, get any new software or learn anything new to track
Um,
and do all this? The logistics piece?
no, I don't think a lot. I mean, she introduced me to Voxer. She introduced me to Evoto. But that wasn't anything that we necessarily needed. But no, I feel like we have a really good relationship. So if there is something that I'm bothered about or I don't think is right or whatever, I just call her and we figure it out. I think that's all that's really important is just having a good relationship.
Right. And somebody like Lydia, at least I know, is pretty thick-skinned. So, like you're saying, if something doesn't isn't sitting right with you, I could imagine it being really easy to just bring those
Well,
things.
I am not thick-skinned, so I'm like, so
Aw.
Lydia, do you think maybe, what do you think about this?"
Yeah, we
Tell
worked we worked on something together recently where Nicole was doing some personality portraits, and I was going to promote them to my client list, both on social media and by email. And so we were kind of negotiating back and forth what we would do for people that came through me to book with her. And it was funny because Nicole was like, I could tell she was very anxious about coming back with a counter offer to my offer, but I gave my offer under the expectation that she would counter me. And so then when she did counter me, I'm like, way to go. I'm so glad you pushed back on me. I
such a
wanted you
big girl
to.
now.
Oh, man. It was funny.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I've with, subcontractors that I've worked with before, like makeup artists and things like that. I'm like, "Don't you think it's time that we start paying you more money, right? This is gonna feel" because what the problem is, like, at least my fear, and I feel like this has happened anyway, is, like, if it doesn't feel worth it for the other person, they're not gonna negotiate, they're not gonna ask you because that's, like, not the nature of the creative solopreneur to negotiate and go to the boss and ask for a raise and, anything along those lines. So, they're just gonna like, "You know what? It's not worth it anymore. Not gonna do it anymore." And I've seen it happen, like, with makeup artists and things like that, like, "This is no longer worth my time." So, like, I try to at least my associates, try to stay ahead of that. So it's like, we gotta make sure this continues to feel good for you so that because
Yeah.
this is working great for me, it's gotta work for
Yeah.
you too.
And you asked me, Joe, when I first told you about this partnership, you asked why Nicole wasn't just an associate
Right,
photographer for me.
right.
And having an associate, as you well know, is work. Like it is coaching. It is, you're still doing the booking and admin and communicating and watching timelines. There's a lot of effort there. And as a part timer, I was reluctant to take that on. Now, since she and I started working together, I have taken on an associate and it is work. It's a lot of work. And sometimes it's really freeing and nice to just be able to hand over an inquiry and be like, they're going to get what they need and I don't have to do anything else.
Well, I can see right away the big differences between this referral partnership and an associate. Like, for starters, yeah, it's less work for you. Um, this is still, like, Nicole's business 100%, in every sense of the word. So, that is, like, not your responsibility either, although I'm sure Nicole always does a great job and goes above and beyond, God forbid she didn't. It's not on your business where an associate is. With my associates, I do the marketing, the booking, the coordinating, the editing. I do everything except for take the pictures. So it is it's work, and I I imagine I'm making significantly more off of my associate sessions than a 15% cut. It's much more. It's more than half of what their rates are, but regardless, it's not the same thing. This is supposed to look like Jill C. Smith photography. That's like what I love about this alternative, and I think as you're showing, like, these 2 things, you can have both. You can do both the referral partnership and have an associate because, again, Nicole's business is Nicole's business, and what she's doing is what she's doing. So that can be totally different and growing in a different direction if she wants it to than Apollo and Ivy. And then she's just become this great referral partner that you can send people to.
Mhm.
Now, have you guys ever talked about what it might look like if, as Nicole, I didn't realize you were only in the area for 3.5 years. So this is making even more sense. But as you're there longer, as you're, you get more traction, have you ever talked about throwing, referrals back in Lydia's direction if you would do a similar partnership in just the other way? Is that something that has come up yet?
No, we have no. We no, I haven't. I would say last year I was from like September to November, I was working like every other day, every other evening. I was
Holy
very
crap.
busy, so it was
My god.
great.
Yeah,
Um, a lot of it was my own, a lot, probably a lot of it was Lydia as well. But I think, I mean, yeah, I would definitely, if it came to that, whatever, that I was so busy and she's needed stuff, I'd for sure,
right.
send back her way too. But so far, it seems Lydia's all right. She's
Yeah, I'm
doing
okay
well
over
over
here.
there.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
I
well,
and I looked
yeah,
at the numbers because I have them because I'm a dork. And since she and I started this partnership, I have referred 102 clients her way, and she's booked about 46% of them. So
that's an incredible conversion rate, Nicole. So what does this look like? So you're saying, "Hey, here's my referral partner," and then the client emails you directly, Nicole?
Yeah, so Lydia gives them my information and then they directly reach out to me.
And you're booking 40% of them.
Yes.
You understand that's way above industry standard.
Well, that's great. That's great.
That's incredible. So what is that, can I, like, pick your brain here for a minute? So and, like, share with the world what are you doing once a client is reaching out to you after they, bounce off of Lydia and they come to you? What are you saying to get 40% of them to book?
Oh gosh, I don't know. I guess just being myself and just being personable and just kind of, what do you need? What are you looking for? We can do this, we can do that. I don't know. I just keep it real light and easy for them to make them feel comfortable. Like, oh, this isn't going to be like, okay, so strict and this and that. I kind of just leave it open to them. Like, you guys tell me what you want. Like,
Okay.
yeah,
what do you want to do?
and I
Is it
think
all
that
So
through
I don't know.
email? Not on the phone?
times.
I don't do in person. Not that I don't want to. It's just always been so far everybody's been fine with doing stuff over the phone. I always say to them, if you
Okay,
want
so
to meet in person before, we can.
you're
But
booking people over the phone.
yes,
I bet you that's part of your success is that you're willing to get on the phone and that because it's way more effective.
Oh, it's
It's
huge.
hard
And
to get people on the phone.
yeah, when I get people who call me, I love that I can just give them Nicole's direct number because clearly that's the way they like to reach out to,
Exactly.
a vendor. That's how they want to connect that way. And so it is really nice because I have had, people in the past where they just give them my email, and I'm like, oh God, I don't want to give them your email because clearly they want to talk on the phone.
I
But
think
yeah,
that's how I book most all of my clients. I have people that send me inquiries through my website, and I have for them to put their phone number on there, and then I reach out directly to them to their phone. And a lot of times they're like, "Oh my gosh, thank you so much for getting back to me so fast." Like,
Yes.
I just reach out directly to the phone. I skip the email. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but for me, it's just easier. It's just easier. Talk to me on the phone, text me. That's easier to me. But
It is easier. It's
mhm.
easier, you get way more accomplished with a phone call or a Zoom call than you can with an email, but it requires both parties to be available for 15 minutes at the same time. So and most people, like, can't imagine making that happen. And, to each their own because, some of these depending on the age of your clients, different generations do not wanna get on the phone, but, that makes sense. I bet that's why you have a high conversion rate then. Good for you. Good for you.
and
Thank you.
maybe a piece of it too is that I've already vouched for her. And I'm not saying this because it's like, oh, look, you're converting so many because I'm so
Yeah,
great.
yeah.
That is
No.
not what I'm saying here. But
Uh-huh, sure, sure.
when I reach out to when I reach out to a contractor or a handyman, say, and they're
Yeah,
like, oh,
yeah.
I'm sorry, I can't help you, but this person can.
Absolutely.
I feel so much more comfortable booking that
Mhm.
second contractor because the first one who I already trust has vouched for them, and it makes it so much
Yes.
easier to make that decision.
I'm actually we're, like, the stain on my fingers, we're just you if I don't know. There's like construction behind me. We're in the middle of a bathroom renovation, and it is the second
Fun.
time, not the second time using the actual second major project using this plumber. The first one was we had a guy come. He looked around. He's like, "This job is more than I can handle, but here's the name and the number of a team who can handle it. I totally recommend them." I didn't even need to, like, ask around. That was enough of a recommendation of, like, from one plumber to another. Like, and now this guy, I recommend him to so many people, and yeah, because he's super duper legit. But yeah, I guess, Lydia, that's a good point. It's exactly also what's happening, and, like, the to for a client to also be warmed up enough that they're reaching out on the phone. That takes
Mhm.
commitment to get on the phone, Like, I'll send an inquiry through, like, a website, no problem, like, all day long, but if, like, you need me to get on the phone, that's another level of commitment. So they are super warmed up, and then what about when the lead's no good? You got a rotten apple in there, like, how are we sussing that out? Are we learning the hard way? What does that look like?
Well, there was one situation where I felt so bad for a referral because I did not realize it was a really I think it was just like an outright scam. I felt so bad, and
Oh,
it didn't get anywhere with Nicole.
oh,
She, like,
okay.
no. So, thankfully, but I think that, um, I'm just a little bit more because I can be, I guess, I'm just a little bit more like, "You know what? I don't wanna do that. I don't wanna do that work. That
Was it
doesn't
and
light
so
me up."
I think I know which one that one was, but wasn't there another one too where there was like an older gentleman who wanted
Oh, that
some boudoir
guy.
photos of
Stop
himself?
it.
I don't remember the guy boudoir. Oh my goodness.
Because I thought he reached out to you and he reached out to another photographer, and we're all blondes. And we think that he had a specific, like, I'm pretty sure he reached out to you.
Ew. Oh my god,
He had a
I
he
blocked
had
that
a
out. I blocked that
he
out.
had a he had a specific, like, I think he
Ew, gross.
wanted a specific woman to take his pictures for his girlfriend.
Wow. Don't remember that. Oh yeah, block that out.
And I told him, I said, "Oh, I'm really sorry, but I don't generally do stuff like that." He goes, "Well, don't you think it's something you could get into?" I'm like, "I don't think so." I don't think I can.
Yeah,
Can my husband come?
this is like, dude, for
Wow.
real,
He
like,
was
all
very
nice in the
he
Midwest
was
and everything
very
about it
old. He
too.
was very old.
Don't you think it's something you could get
Yeah, "Do you
into?
think it's something you can get into?" I'm like,
Once
"No,
you get
I don't."
started, you'll enjoy it. I'm like,
Gross.
goddamn men. Yes.
God, I'm dying.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we like, that could be an episode of just colorful inquiries because those happen. So you're because, like, here's my process, and I'm just, like, equating this to, like, how it looks in associate land versus referral land. So, in associate land, I get an inquiry, I do the initial vetting, right? Is this something that, like, we're actually gonna do? Is this person somebody we're gonna wanna work with? And, like, normally the answer is yes, like, we don't get a whole lot of skills coming through that way. Um, but once they pass the sniff test, then I'm like, I'll, lob it through a text message to my associate, like, "Hey, got this inquiry. This guy wants to propose to his girlfriend at the waterfall on this date, this hour. Are you interested and available?" And then from there, then I will coordinate. But it sounds like there's less steps for you guys when that sort of comes through
I
the
think it's
pipeline?
kinda the same. Lydia kinda asked me, "Hey, would you be interested in doing this? If so, then I'll send them your way."
Okay, so she's checking first with you if it's something you even
Mhm.
wanna entertain
Or I can't
If
before.
it's
have time
off,
for
yeah.
'em.
If it's
Yeah.
off the beaten path, sometimes though she'll kind of keep me posted about, especially in the fall when her schedule's filling up, and I like, do you still have room for more? Do you still have room for more? And if she's like, okay, I've got room for, plenty more. So I won't
Yeah,
check for a little while. I'll just kind
right.
of send things her way. And then I'll check in again and be like, how are you doing? And she'll let me know kind of where things are. So yeah, we definitely stay in touch about kind of capacity in that
Yeah.
regard.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I wouldn't say there's a whole lot that I'm like, "Oh, I can't do." I'm like, "All right, when can I squeeze them in? I'm not gonna turn down money. Not turning it down. Where can I do this?"
I get it, I get it. So, and we've talked about, like, how some clients become Nicole evangelists, and does this mostly happen with people who would be the first time they're working with you, Lydia, or the first, or you have your own client base? Because Lydia, your primary focus is seniors if you can help it, right?
That's what I mean, I wouldn't say that it's my primary focus, but it's sort of become what I'm known for, and it's
Yeah,
taken over more than half of my sessions.
right.
Last year was the first year I did more seniors than anything else.
Cool.
So,
Yeah.
yes, but Nicole's senior work is also beautiful, and I love it. So that's helpful because there's always latecomers coming in the
Yeah.
door who wasn't full, so I can send them her way. But yeah,
But so that is now like, and Nicole's has a broader service offering. So that kind of enables her to say yes to more sorts of things. And as maybe your focus narrows, as it seems to be on that pathway, it's kind of nice now that, because I know that when I narrowed my focus, once I for example, for me, it was the opposite when I cut seniors out, and seniors, like, pretty family adjacent, it's not that
hmm
so different from family photography that I'm totally switching gears to do it, but once I started really focusing on families, once I stopped doing seniors and then got back into it, it just felt like a foreign language to me, like, it was so unfamiliar, um, I and it was nice, so it might end up being nice for you too as you do less other things and then throwing that in. Yeah. Yeah, and, once a client works with you again, Nicole, or
they're
do you
hers.
have to send they're hers, then
They're
there's
hers.
no more referral fees after that.
No, no. The first time only, and after that, they belong to her.
That's another reason why I think too, like, people who kinda turn their nose to it, it's kinda like kind of a no-brainer. I mean, because if they really like you, they're gonna probably continue going to you, so you pay this one time for them to stay with you from now on. I mean, it's
We have a terrible, and not you, but our industry has a terrible habit of not treating this industry like any other industry, and there's something called a CAC. It's just the client acquisition cost. And most businesses understand they have a CAC. So whatever that relates to, whether it's your advertising dollar, whatever a loss leader that you are putting up there to bring new clients in, your clients, it costs you money to bring clients in one way or another. So many photographers put $0 into this, or at least in their brain they do, that they're unwilling to even, like, fathom spending any sort of money in the way that you are, but you're exactly right. You're basically paying a small fee for a new client.
I'm basically paying Lydia to do my marketing.
And you've outsourced your marketing in a way, but it really is like, it's like, I don't know, maybe Nicole has the better end of the deal right now. I don't know. I think it's a totally fair, trade. I think there's, like, serious balance here. As somebody who is a veteran photographer who doesn't necessarily have a hard time getting clients, I wouldn't turn my nose up at this offer if another photographer, or if that just became the established norm in my circle here, like, locally. We're like, "Yeah, we pay each other, 15% once if we book somebody they referred to us." Every so often, people send out, like, the blanket inquiries, and we all get the same exact inquiry at the same time, so, of course, nothing like that, but it's like, yeah, you're paying a relatively small fee, especially if you're a family photographer. you pay this one-time fee to Lydia, and now you have this person who's probably gonna book with you again. Have you done the numbers on that, Nicole, to see what the, client return rate is looking like from these bookings?
I have not.
Yeah. I'd be curious about
Usually
that data.
Yeah.
no, Lydia would have to do my numbers.
Lydia,
Um,
break out your Airtable.
I feel like I've done seniors and then they'll have me do their family photos
Yeah,
from there
yeah.
or vice versa. Um, I feel like that's kind of been the where I see them again is the majority of it, probably.
I mean, that's a really great way to get in with a family, but it's just like it feels like a no-brainer, and, like, Lydia, maybe you should patent this because it's a good system.
I
Um, can we I don't want to drag you guys out too far beyond what I consider a reasonable length of time for someone to have to talk to me. But I am curious about, like, some of the logistics now. Like, Lydia, you are a master of all things software that the rest of us struggle with, or meaning me and maybe Nicole too. It sounds like she's also
Definitely,
not.
definitely me.
Yeah, I'm mostly in Lydia's, like, inbox talking about things with HoneyBook and now Avoto and, like, all the and that I will talk about Airtable as if it is an actual physical table that's in the room with us, but I understand photographers love there are photographers functioning on a higher level than I love Airtable. So talk a little bit about how this is, have you integrated this part of your business into it? And then I also wanna ask about taxes, even though I don't really wanna say that. The last time we had our call, Lydia, I was, like, also avoiding my taxes. It was probably about a year ago, so, deja
just
vu,
did
but
mine
anyway.
last night.
Ugh, stop. So, tell me a little
You're
bit
okay.
about the, data and how you are, like, how is
Yeah.
this all working?
Yeah. So, I mentioned all of my inquiries come through HoneyBook, but from HoneyBook, they go straight into Airtable, where I have, a field where I can track the outcome. Did I book them? Did I lose that client? Did I refer that client? And then I have another status, which is I referred the client and then that client got booked so that I can see what percentage of the referrals are successful. And then I check in with her on a regular basis, or sometimes when she gets a booking, she'll be like, "Hey, that one you sent me just booked." Wonderful. So, and then because I keep such meticulous records, like nothing really falls through the cracks. And then, as as far as taxes goes, I will refer you to my CPA because I have no idea how that all works. I don't know.
Right. Do you have to 1099 Nicole?
Let's
Or
see.
is it the other
Well,
way around?
it would be the other way around.
So
Maybe,
then it's
but
not your
I
business.
don't know. I think she's just I think it's an expense, honestly.
Yeah,
But if I
yeah,
had to guess, I would say it's like another marketing expense, right? Just like you know,
no
your
idea.
website hosting is a marketing expense. I'm not sure.
Yeah,
If somebody, yeah,
for me, it's an
for her.
expense.
Yes.
Referral,
Yeah,
right, it's an expense for you. It's like
yeah,
a referral fee, but it's yeah, because Lydia's not doing work for you, so it's not like it wouldn't 1099,
Yeah.
right? I don't
Right.
know. That's
well, I've never
interesting.
done a 1099 for, so, um,
So hopefully not, but I don't know.
I mean,
Maybe if somebody listening is gonna set us straight,
I
please
think
do.
they've, like, fired everybody at the IRS. I think you're good. I don't think anybody
I
at the
have a
IRS is
really
listening.
great, tax guy that does it. He's a retired he's amazing, and so he knows everything I'm doing, and he's never once said to me like, "Oh, she should have a 1099," so hopefully.
Interesting. Well, that's kind of
But who
easy.
knows? Maybe
No,
after, like
I'm
Lydia said, somebody watches this, they're like, "God, Nicole, your tax guy isn't too good because he should have known that." So, we'll find out.
well, no, because when you think about it that way, it's not like it is not subcontractor work that Lydia is doing. So, yeah, very wow, you guys. I I think this is like an exciting idea to kind of to share with our people and anybody else. Are there any components of this that we didn't talk about that you think are important to cover before we wrap up our conversation?
I think we did a pretty good job uncovering this, and I mean, ultimately, if somebody were to say, what's the secret to this success? Well, I do think more people should consider it. More people who are
Yeah.
established and who are turning away work should consider it as a form of customer service, right? To not leave people in the lurch, because you never know, that person that you referred on that was able to get what they needed, the next time somebody asks them for a referral, they might just give both of you.
Mhm.
Right? Because they're like, "Oh, I didn't work with Lydia, but she was really nice and got
Yeah.
me to the person I
Yeah.
did work
Oh,
with,
for
which
sure.
was this person." So, I think more people should consider it. I think more people should be part of it, but it does involve a lot of trust, so it has to be the right person.
I still recommend that initial plumber that I had gotten a quote from who didn't take the job. So, but, yeah, trust is everything with this sort of thing. It really is, and, like, just making sure that you guys are vibing on the same frequency so that you really can have it's just it's everything. It's like with my associates, it's just like, I don't worry about them. I don't have insecurities about them doing that. I just don't. Other people, it doesn't mean because I'm a completely trusting person. It's just a matter of them and, like, my relationship with them, it is so important. You guys wanna do, like, a little fun lightning round before we finish?
Yes.
Alright, so I'll ask a question, and we'll let Nicole answer and then Lydia answer just so we have a little bit less anarchy here. Alright, what camera system do you shoot?
I have the R5.
Sweet. Cool.
Yeah,
Lydia?
I'm
I
a
always have to think about that.
yeah, I know. I'm a Canon R6 Mark II.
Nice. Okay, and, Lightroom or Photoshop? Adobe Camera Raw.
I use both.
Where do you start? You
I
start
start in
Lightroom and
Light
then
I
finish
start in
in
Lightroom. I don't always use Photoshop, but sometimes I'll throw things over to Photoshop and back into Lightroom.
got it. You mean it in that sense, okay, for, like, finish
Yes,
you're doing finish work in Photoshop.
yes,
And Lydia?
and then yeah.
Yeah.
I get what you mean.
So I don't touch Lightroom. I'm an Adobe Camera Raw girl and Imagine and Bridge and Evoto. I need fewer tools. I'm working on this. I'm trying to streamline this workflow. But
You
yes,
are
I
the yeah.
am an anti Lightroom girl.
Yeah, I don't edit. I edit in Adobe Camera Raw too, Lydia. Did we know this already about each other?
No, I love that about
Yeah.
you.
Yeah, I don't I just they're the same they do the same thing, but
They
Lightroom
do.
seems more complicated, so I'm like
I shouldn't admit this,
Re
but I don't know. I've never even seen Adobe Camera Raw.
it's Photoshop if you're opening up a raw file. If you opened up a raw file with Photoshop, it would start you in something called Adobe Camera Raw. It's Photoshop, but
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah,
okay.
It
it
does
does
the
the same thing.
same things as Lightroom. You can
That's
apply all your presets, masking. Everything is the same
without
and
catalogs?
without catalogs.
Yeah.
Because I could never wrap my head around catalogs, and I'm an IT nerd, so that's saying something.
Thank you. Okay, good. Okay. Nicole, what's your favorite lens?
I love my 85. I use my 85 a lot, and I use the 24 to 70.
Yeah.
I use, yeah.
Yep. I
What
have the
about you, Lydia?
Monster, the 2870
Mm,
2.0. That thing is so heavy, but I can't quit it. I just
it is
can't.
so crazy big. It
Yeah,
is so
it's
I've
huge.
seen this I've, like it took my breath away the first time I saw that lens. It's, like,
Massive. It's like
wild. What are we
carpal
Woo.
tunnel inducing. Yes.
I'm getting there. I'm getting the trigger finger. I'm getting, like, carpal tunnel or with something called, a different type of tendonitis in my wrist there. Not cool, and my big lens is, like I mean, it's an everyday lens, but it's big, but it's not that big. That so Oh, man, okay. Nicole, studio or golden hour?
Golden hour.
Lydia?
Same. Same.
Same, same.
All day long.
Oh, well, you guys, this has been so fun. I've really enjoyed talking to you. Lydia, it's always good to see you. Where can people find you, learn more, see your work, talk to you in your inboxes about this partnership if they have lingering questions? Sure.
You can start,
You
Nicole.
you can start, Nicole. Where can people find you, Nicole?
I guess on my website or on Facebook, on Instagram, on
What's your
both.
Instagram handle?
What's your handle?
Uh, I think my handle is Nicole Moreno Photography, I believe.
All right. Easy peasy. Then I will confirm, and we will link you in the show notes. And Lydia?
Yeah, website is apolloandivy.com, and my Instagram handle is Lydia_Apollo and Ivy. I don't know why I make things complicated, but I do. But yes, feel free to reach out. I love talking about this.
Thank you. I appreciate you guys, and I hope you have a wonderful week.
All
Thanks.
right. Thank you.
Bye.
So until next time, keep shooting, keep creating, and keep building the business that supports your dreams. Have a fantastic week. And remember, in the business of photography, your creativity is your biggest asset.